Hello and welcome to Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. As the news, sports news all around the world continues to come fast and in a hurry, we try to keep up with it by delivering to you the most urgent news as well as the most relevant analysis. I do have with me today Seun Ajidagba.
Good morning, Mika. It's a pleasure joining you on the show.
Welcome. I think a lot of our stories in the last few days has been in leading up to the Beijing Winter Olympics, and obviously the opening ceremony is just a few hours away, and we're looking forward to it. I'm sure there'll be plenty to report on the spectacle tomorrow on Plus TV, Plus Sports Special. I don't know if you've been keeping up with it, Seun.
Yes, but this competition has been overshadowed by the absence of Feng Shui, the
Yes.
tennis player who said Zangali, the former prime minister, assaulted her sexually, and she went into disappearance. And quite a number of people are not so happy that China, that they are start to be very vindictive, as still the host of the Winter Olympics. But the good news is that the IOC president and every concerned people said they are going to be meeting with Feng Shui
Yes.
in a couple of days to really get to know how she's faring.
Obviously,
But honestly,
the games have been a lightning rod, drawing attention from all across the world to critique and criticize all of the human rights abuses that have been associated with China in the last few years. But before we talk more on that, and there is more to talk on that, let's start with Africa, with the AFCON second semi-final having been played yesterday. Egypt edged hosts Cameroon in a penalty shootout after a goalless draw to set up an Africa Cup of Nations final against Senegal. Egypt goalkeeper Gabaski was the hero, saving two penalties as Egypt edged hosts Cameroon in a penalty shootout. The final on Sunday sets up a tense meeting between Liverpool forwards Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane at the same venue, Cameroon's capital Yaoundé Olimbe Stadium. Cameroon had shown more urgency in the first 90 minutes, hitting the post twice through Michael Ngado's looping, Ngaduju's header, and Samuel Goetz' thunderous long-range strike, which flicked the woodwork. For much of the game, Egypt star's man Salah was kept quiet, curling a strike from outside the area, narrowly over and almost profiting from a loose back pass. But he failed to convert. Three missed shots from Cameroon ensured that Salah was not required but to step up to the shootout, with Gabaski saving from Harold Makudi and James Lea Siliki, and Clinton Nje side-footing wide. Normal time ended in an ill-tempered commotion as Egypt coach Carlos Queiroz was sent off for arguing with the referee and his assistant, while Goma was also cautioned. Both will be missing from the touchline for the final against Senegal on Sunday. Now, goalkeeper Mohamed Abu Gabar pulled off two spectacular saves as Egypt edged host Cameroon 3-1 in the penalty shootout to reach the final of Africa Cup of Nations following a goalless draw on Thursday. Cameroon converted only one of their four spot kicks, with Abu Gabar blocking two of the strikes before Clinton Nje missed his attempt. Egypt converted all three of their kicks. The defeat comes as a major blow to the hosts, whose troubled tournament was overshadowed by the stadium crush that led to 8 deaths last week. Thursday's match was the first game at the Olimbe Stadium since last week's tragedy. Cameroon supporters watching the match from Yaoundé City Hall largely blamed coach Antonio Consacco for the loss. Egypt will be aiming to win a record-extending 8th Cup of Nations title when they face Senegal in Sunday's final. Now, Seun, Egypt have a lot to be happy about, but Cameroon must feel so unlucky to fall out through penalties, and especially at home with all the momentum that they had built up, with all the crowd expectations and excitement that had pervaded this tournament for them.
Thank you, Mikael. Bad day for the Cameroonians at the Stade Olembe Stadium in Yaoundé. It must be said that fixture pitted the two most successful teams at AFCON, Egypt with 7, Cameroon with 5. It was more of confirming of supremacy or revenge. And when I mean confirming of supremacy, don't forget, Mikael, that in 2017, Cameroon defeated Egypt to lead the African Cup of Nations.
True.
While for Egypt, we wanted to avenge that loss and progress to the final in front of their own fans. Before that game, I was saying it that a Cameroonian side that scored 11 goals before the semi-final, and all goals came from the boot of just 2 players, Captain Vincent Abubakar and Karl Toko Etandi, who has got 5 goals. So the question is, when these two are not firing, who steps up to the party? And all the Egyptians needed to do was to shut out these 2 guys, deny them time and space in the box, deny them everything that they love to do, which is getting into their marauding self. And you have to say it was a tactical masterclass from Carlos Queiroz. And to be honest, to think that your number 1 choice goalkeeper in the Shenawi was out, and all they had was Mohamed Abugaba, who became the hero,
Seun,
was fantastic.
Seun, the match wasn't a bore to watch. I mean, there were plenty of chances. Even though it went all the way to penalties, it was mostly exciting. Cameroon could have easily won it. Same could have been said of Egypt before the 90-minute time was over. So what was it that was it edginess? Were both teams trying to avoid losing, that they couldn't score in the first 90?
Everybody wants to play the final. And so the 2 teams were a bit cautious. There were minimal chances that was created. But I think the best chance fell to the Egyptians. Mohamed Salah in the second half, and in the extra time, the one that Ramadan Chobi was supposed to square just into the box and allow somebody to tap in. You saw the way Trezeguet busted into life when he came on. I must say that it was a very feisty game. And at some point in time, I was looking at that game, that this game was going to get out of the hands of the best referee in Africa from Gambia, Papa Bakari Gassama. Remember, he gave Carlos Queiroz a red card, 2 yellow cards. He also gave his assistant a yellow card, and he had already picked a yellow card from the game against Morocco to test coach and assistant are going to be looking for the final. But I think that issue stems from what happened before the semi-final game, where the president of the Cameroonian Football Association, Samuel Ekofi, said it's a war. And he was like, you shouldn't be making utterances like that. It's just a game of football. So he really turned into a heated argument. And you saw Mohamed Salah also going to confront the referee, showing his displeasure, and the referee said, I don't want to see anybody. But all in all, you have to give credit to the testicular fortitude of this Egyptian side.
So, Seun,
this was the team that lost their first game against Nigeria and went ahead to win the remaining 2 games.
Seun,
in a fashion that was not so convincing.
Seun, can it be said now that the 2 best teams in the tournament are in the finals?
What more can you say? They were not happy to the final. You played 7 games to get to the final. Even Senegal were very, very poor in the group stage. Although they had a good record of becoming the first team not to concede in the group game, they had to manufacture a penalty for them against Zimbabwe in the 97th minute that Mane converted. They drew against Guinea. They drew against Malawi. But guess what, Michael? They have saved the best for the last in the knockout round.
Aside from the...
Defeated Cape Verde,
yes.
the round of 16, although Cape Verde got 2 red cards. Defeated Equatorial Guinea 3-1. Defeated Burkina Faso 3-1. So, Michael, it's safe to say they have scored 8 goals in 3 matches from the knockout stage.
All right.
And this was a team that just scored 1 goal in the group stage.
Seun, aside from the novelty of Sadio Mane going up against Mohamed Salah on opposing teams, quickly, who is your predicted winner for the final?
I don't want to look beyond Egypt. You guys have shown some mental strength. And just very quickly, because these guys have played 360 minutes with some extra time. What do I mean, Mikael? In the round of 16, they played 130 minutes against Cote d'Ivoire. A very difficult game. One would have thought they would be exasperated for their quarter-final game against their northern rivals, Morocco. They played another 120 minutes against Morocco, although they won that one in extra time. Now they played another 120 minutes against host Cameroon. These guys, literally speaking, permit me to use that word, they are not human beings, they are animals.
All right. Let's return now to the Beijing Winter Olympics. As we've been talking about all the issues that have arisen leading up to this, it seems to have been a good time for a lot of China's critics to come out and collaboratively try to highlight all that is wrong with China's human rights records. Now, we've heard the story about Peng Shuai, and the IOC chairman says he will have a meeting with her. But there's still a lot to be said, and around 50 protesters rallied in front of the Chinese embassy in Tokyo on Friday, today, February 4th, to protest against the Beijing Winter Olympics just hours before the opening ceremony. People from China's Uyghur Muslim ethnic group, as well as Tibetans, Hong Kongers, and South Mongolians currently residing in Japan, were among the protesters. The fact that China, completely ignored the Uyghur genocide that the world has pointed out and kept going with hosting the games means they are indirectly and complicitly supporting the genocide. That's what we think, and that's why we are against it. The games, that is, said Afumeto Retepu, vice chairman of the Japan Uyghur Association. Several countries, including the United States and Britain, have announced a diplomatic boycott of the games over China's rights records, including its treatment of mostly Muslim Uyghurs in the Xinjiang region, which the United States deems genocide. And I think we all would deem that as genocide. The Chinese have called it a re-education camp, but really it's just semantics. We know what happened when America moved a bunch of all Japanese residents in America during the Second World War into concentration camps. Now, some of the stories we've heard from the Chinese camps are kind of scary. They kind of highlight a government that has no regard, even though some of these people, a lot of these people are Chinese citizens. It says a lot that one certain ethnic group is being, in this day and age, being systematically oppressed, maybe even killed, and there's certainly been a lot of reports of rape and maiming and torture in these camps by the guards there. Seun, is this just what is expected from the decision to allow China host these games?
I listened carefully to one journalist, an Olympic journalist who criticized Bob Costas, and he criticized the IOC's decision to award the games to China, saying that the IOC deserves all the disdain and disgust that comes their way for going back to China yet again, referencing their human rights records. Everything is not right with this Winter Olympics. There are issues around hosting. There are issues around the promotional song.
What?
They felt it was taken from a Disney song in 2013.
Yes.
There are issues about diplomatic boycott. There are issues about the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Seun, what really bothers me the most about this whole episode, this unfortunate situation that we find ourselves in, that the Olympics, as prestigious as a tournament as it does, finds itself in, is the insistence that we keep politics out of the games. How could that possibly happen, given that your decision as IOC chairman, it should have been clear from the start that this would cause political upheaval, political uproar, political furor. How could they have avoided this if they chose to give it to China anyway?
Let me be frank with you. All these bodies, they have arrogated so much power to them. From the IOC, to FIFA, to CAF, to decide the fate of country. Don't forget what happened in 2018. Russia hosted the World Cup, right? But before then, they were in a bidding issue with England. And to think that England did not make it into the second round of the bidding process because they had a BBC scandal against FIFA. They were knocked out in the first round. It was shocking to the marrow. Now, the World Cup this year, we will not be doing it in the period that we have known the World Cup to take place, which is June, July. It is status quo. But of course, status quo will be changed. And we are moving to December. Because that June, July in Qatar, that if you want to go and burn people alive, that place will be very, very hot. Why are we doing all of these things? You know what happens at the end of it. So all these controversies, all these shenanigans that happen, you cannot take it away. Where some persons will sit in the corner and decide the fate of so many people.
It is impossible.
I remember those good old days. Jakwana said it categorically before South Africa hosted in 2010. After they lost to Germany in 2006. He said before the voting starts, I have given the people 6 votes. How many members are there then? 24 members. If you don't align them with those people, the likes of Joseph Blatter and Jakwana, it's as if you are on your own. So some of these people engage in some of these shenanigans that need a lot of inquiry.
All right, Seun, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for joining us here at PlusTvAfrica. It's always a pleasure having you.
A pleasure doing this, and I want to say a big thank you to you, Michael, for your steadfastness and your brotherly love. Send me well to all members of the crew on PlusSport on PlusTvAfrica. May God enlarge your cause beyond your imagination.
And with that kind of shout out, they don't need one from me. Thank you again. And to everyone at home or at work, wherever you might be watching us, thank you for choosing PlusTvAfrica for all of your sports news. Plus Sports will return again next week, but tomorrow it will be Plus Sports Special. Remember, life is never boring with some sports. My name is Mokal Tinubu. Have a wonderful day.